absolutely wrote a Snow White
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
People need to stop blaming Rachel Zegler for the failure of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Why? Because Disney ruined it themselves. They handed a grenade to a rookie and now are sitting silently in the corner, letting a new name take fall for them. Usually my job is to defend the villains, but this movie has turned our lead into the villain of the real world. But I say otherwise. It has become a PR strategy now. A film flops and the studio turns to the audience like we're the problem. You just don't get it, they say. It's too smart for you. Take the Marvels 2023, for example. The executives and media outlets allegedly said that superhero fatigue or misogynistic backlash was to blame. But I say it flopped because it felt like a stitched-together side quest with zero stakes and characters who barely knew each other. And then there's Lightyear 2022, where Disney went, oh, the audience must be confused. It's not Buzz Buzz, it's Lightyear Buzz, like we needed a Venn diagram to watch a kid's movie. The film didn't click, okay? Instead of owning to it, you are pointing fingers in every direction, but inward. And now you've upgraded the playbook. Let the actors take the blame. Look, when Rachel Zegler entered the room, the classic was already rewritten in corporate buzzwords. This isn't some Blake Lively takeover arc. People really out here acting like she herself demanded, what if Snow White was a feminist manifesto and the dwarfs were vibes? No, sit down, you little piece of shit, and listen. The modernized Snow White, the one where she doesn't need saving, doesn't fall in love, and would probably join the woodland creatures, was already in place before Rachel was ever cast in 2021. The whole tone of girl boss in a forest was cooked up by Disney's own chefs way before Zegler stepped on set. Let me name drop one of those chefs. Producer Mark Platt, the same guy behind La La Land and Wicked, was one of the main forces behind this reimagination. Disney's internal creative team has been in a long-term relationship with this idea of refreshing classics to reflect modern values. Inclusivity, empowerment, gender rights, buzzword bingo in action. You can see the pattern in Moana, The Little Mermaid, Queen of Katwe. It's Disney's corporate strategy now. Not a whim, not an actor's tantrum, a strategy. Rachel was hired because she fit the role they wanted to push, and that main role demanded diversity. So Rachel Zegler, a rising Latina actress with, oh my God, olive skin. Hello, skin tone police. I would like to thank you for patrolling fairy tales first, but I have some important news to report. Disney has rewritten the Constitution. The most important part of a casting should depend on the Pantone shade of a woman's face now. I mean, thank you so much for your concern, Professor Melanin. Truly, the entire moral backbone of the story hinges on SPF levels now. Did people expect Kate Winslet, Amanda Seyfried, or Anne Hathaway to do the role? Cause well, oh, they have skin as white as snow. The casting wasn't a pick-me moment. This was Disney introducing diversity. It's been a pattern now. The Little Mermaid did it too. Even Peter Pan and Wendy and Pinocchio did it too. Then we get to the dwarfs, the 7 iconic characters that have been with Snow White since the very first Hi-Ho was sung. Disney was trying to update the 7 dwarfs, and it kind of felt like a diversity meeting got way out of hand. Instead of little people, they picked a mix of regular-sized actors from different backgrounds. It was like they Googled progressive reboot and just tossed in whatever checked a box. When Peter Dinklage came out and called the original portrayal backward, Disney panicked. He had every right to bring up how little people are represented in the media without being stereotyped. But instead of, I don't know, hiring actual actors and modernizing the roles with respect, Disney pressed delete and replaced the dwarfs with magical forest roommates. If they had to change the essence of the story, the true love, the 7 dwarfs with such drastic elements, I don't understand why they couldn't make up an entire new Disney princess. I believe their intentions are good, but the outcomes of their recent actions have just flared more controversies. Now the disaster is done, but Disney's marketing and PR strategy for Snow White was even worse. Calling it weak would be generous. It was practically non-existent. It's like they handed Rachel Zegler a mic and said, go be charming, without stopping to ask if she had any formal PR training or, I don't know, a script. Rachel isn't a media seasoned vet. She's a Gen Z breakout who built her name doing YouTube covers. This is her 6th film. She was put under the spotlight with her debut film, where she performed as Maria in in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, 2021. That performance earned her the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy, so she's still a baby in the industry. Most actors spent years doing smaller roles. They build up thick skin, media training, and experience. But Rachel is grooming herself in real time. Going from YouTube to Spielberg to Disney Princess in 4 years is the career equivalent of getting shot out of a cannon and hoping you land on your feet.
Big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
I know she's made a lot of comments about Trump, Palestine, the prince being a stalker, not needing to be saved. And while some of those things came from a good place, the way they were said, that's where media training would have stepped in and said, hey, maybe don't dunk on the source material while selling the remake. Look at Gal Gadot, for instance. She's silent, composed, and unbothered. She's a PR fortress. She's been through DC, international junkets, and headline-fueled media runs. She knows how to navigate that minefield. But when it comes to Rachel, you can basically see Disney quietly inching away in the background, saying, who hired her again? I know Disney stepped in, but notice it was not to protect her. It was to defend the movie, not her mental health, not her reputation, just the brand. And where was the PR messaging from day one? Why didn't Disney clearly say, this is a reimagining of Snow White for modern audiences? Of course, when the backlash started, Disney abandoned its lead. And I understand why that was necessary. See, when Halle Bailey was cast as Ariel, the internet lit up with the whole number, "Not my Ariel" nonsense. Disney actually defended Halle there. Like full armor and sword, she got statements of support, viral videos of little girls crying, happy tears. The promo tour was all about her talent, her voice, her grace. They made her the hero of the narrative. And surprise, people came around. Even the loudest doubters had to shut up when they saw the movie and realized she actually crushed it. This type of thing can be managed. Just look at Camila Cabello in Cinderella 2.0. She literally said, yeah, we changed the story, called her character a badass, and said fairy tales needed to evolve.
Sometimes the more traditional fairy tales, I feel like, haven't carried the best messages and lessons.
She wasn't subtle about it either. Did she face massive backlash? Nope. Why? Because the tone matched the film. The studio Amazon, not Disney, didn't pretend this was your grandma's Cinderella. The audience knew what they were getting, and the PR stayed aligned with the product. Meanwhile, Rachel was out here giving interviews where she called the prince a stalker and laughed off the romance. But nobody at Disney gave her a game plan. If they take a stand for Rachel now, they know they'll have to take the dirt. And why are they not taking the dirt? Well, because Disney has turned into a corporation from a creative studio. They have been on a streak of turning classics into lectures. The Little Mermaid, Peter Pan and Wendy, Pinocchio, all got little to no receptions because they forgot the magic. Instead of storytelling, we got stiff scripts, weird messaging, and visuals that looked like AI fan edits. Snow White was doomed to fail from the start. The production had delays, reshoots, and rumor mill leaks louder than the actual marketing. Multiple insiders hinted that Disney couldn't decide what they wanted. Was it a fairy tale or a feminist manifesto? A musical or a political statement with glitter? Nobody knew. Even Phil Brennan, one of the VFX leads, admitted the visual tone went through multiple exhausting revisions, trying to nail down the right obsidian look. Which brings us to the final unspoken truth. This movie wasn't made for love. It was made for image. A safe corporate checklist disguised as cinema. Diverse cast? Check. Empowerment quotes? Check. Out of context TikTok clips that will trend but never explain anything? Double check. And that's not on Rachel. That's a studio that cared more about optics than originality. It's a film made by committee, not by vision. So hope that clears up Rachel ruined the best classic by opening her mouth. I'm ready for a debate, a think piece, or just a really good meme. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.